Let me ask you a simple, very gentle question. When was the last time you walked through a long, full day without carrying the heavy weight of feeling like you had to accomplish something? When was the last time you woke up, looked out your window, watched the early morning light filter through the leaves of the trees, and felt absolutely no worry, no sudden rush of restlessness about the duties you were supposed to perform? Can you even remember when that was? Right now? It is likely late at night where you are. The world around you has quieted down into a deep, near-perfect silence. The television in your living room has been turned off for hours. All the noisy, hectic sounds of the daytime streets have faded into the distance. There is only the steady, monotonous ticking of the wall clock in the corner of your room. That ticking sound seems to tap gently against the stillness of your home, making the space around you feel somehow larger, deeper, and perhaps a little emptier. You might be lying in your familiar bed, or perhaps sitting quietly in your leather armchair in the corner of the room, looking up at the faint shadows stretching across the ceiling. That restless feeling has crept back in, hasn't it? It sneaks into your mind silently without warning. It is a strange, hollow sensation, a wave of subtle anxiety that rises up in your chest. You find yourself wondering why you feel this way. After all, you have completed the duties of a lifetime. You worked tirelessly for over 40 years, raised your children until they were grown, paid off your debts, and now you have every right to rest. You should feel relieved. You should feel completely free. But why is it that now, when the morning alarm no longer rings, when the demanding schedule of work is gone, your heart cannot seem to find peace? Why does the slow, unstructured time you dreamed of when you were young now taste so much like loneliness and lack of direction? Please know that this restlessness, this inner agitation, is not a sign of laziness or weakness. It is a profound psychological shift, a sudden transition of identity that so many retirees across the country experience every single day. Just like you, your brain and your body have been programmed to run, to solve problems, and to constantly produce value for more than half a century. When that wheel suddenly stops spinning, you fall into a vast vacuum. You feel like a traveler left behind at an empty train station, watching the train of life continue to speed forward with everyone else's busy routines. Tonight, I want you to understand something very important. You are not alone in this feeling. What you are experiencing is a completely natural, human response, and it deserves to be met with kindness, not judgment. Place a gentle hand on your chest and feel the warm, steady beat of your heart. You do not need to prove anything to anyone anymore tonight. You do not need a list of things to do to justify your existence on this earth. Your mere presence right now, your quiet breath in this moment, is already the most complete gift to this world. Let your body soften. Let your mind rest. We are going to walk through this night together, slowly and peacefully, to find the deep stability that has always lived inside you. To help you see that you are not walking this path in solitude, let us look outside together, past the softly lit windows of homes stretching across this vast country. There are millions of others who are feeling the exact same quiet ache tonight, sitting under different roofs, but sharing the exact same ex-situ state of mind, gentle yet filled with unexpressed worries. Think of a man in his early 70s living in a quiet suburb of Ohio. For his entire life, he was a dedicated engineer, always the first one to wake up in his household. Every single morning at 6 o'clock, he would sit at the kitchen table, brew a cup of strong black coffee, and check his work emails while sipping his drink, preparing for complex technical meetings and project designs. He was deeply used to the feeling of being needed, used to solving difficult technical problems to keep the machinery running smoothly. But then the day of retirement arrived. This morning, he still woke up at 6 o'clock out of a habit etched into his very bones. He still brewed that same cup of coffee and sat at that same table. But when he opened his laptop, the screen was completely blank. There were no urgent emails waiting for his attention. No colleagues were calling him for advice. The phone was entirely silent. He looked at the steam rising from his coffee cup, looked out at the yard where the oak leaves were slowly drifting down, and felt a heavy wave of emptiness wash over him. He realized he had nowhere he had to be this morning, no specific responsibility to carry. A sudden feeling of uselessness settled in, turning his morning coffee into a flat, bitter experience. Or look inside another home in Massachusetts, where a woman of 68 has just begun her evening. She spent her entire youth being a devoted mother and a caring wife. Her house was once filled with the constant sounds of laughter, children playing, dishes clattering, and warm family dinners. She was used to worrying about everyone's meals, everyone's sleep, and tidying up the beautiful mess of a busy household. But now her children have grown up, started their own families, and moved to distant cities like New York or San Francisco to chase their careers. The large multi-bedroom house is now quiet, holding only her and a vast, echoing silence. On these warm summer evenings, when she looks out the window and sees her neighbors packing their cars for family road trips, she feels a sharp sting of isolation. She looks at the phone on the table, wishing it would ring with a call from her children. But then she reminds herself of how busy they are with their jobs and their own little ones. The phone calls have become shorter and less frequent, turning into quick, rushed check-ins. She walks through the empty rooms, hearing the clear sound of her own footsteps, feeling how huge the house is and how small and perhaps forgotten she has become in the rapid rush of the younger generation. And perhaps you might see yourself in another elderly soul in Pennsylvania, someone who used to love the outdoors, who spent hours tending the backyard garden, trimming the rose bushes, and pulling weeds. But time is an unforgiving companion. At 72, the persistent ache in their knees whenever the weather changes and the stiffness in their lower back makes every attempt to bend down a painful struggle. Physical decline has slowly taken away their simplest joys. Now, they can only sit quietly on a wooden chair on the porch, watching their beloved garden slowly grow wild with weeds, feeling completely helpless and full of regret. They feel angry at their own body, frustrated because they can no longer control their basic physical movements, feeling like an outsider in the very garden they built with their own hands. All of these stories, all of these quiet pains, stem from the exact same root. Our modern society places far too much value on doing, on being busy, and on constant productivity. We are taught how to make ourselves useful through action, but we are never taught how to simply exist in peace. We spend our lives learning how to work, but we never learn how to live when the work is finally done. Before we move deeper into the gentle ways we can transform this pain, if you feel these words speaking directly to your heart tonight, please take a soft moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Your quiet presence here is a beautiful source of encouragement that helps me continue to create these peaceful, healing spaces for us every evening. To truly heal from this fear of uselessness after retirement, we must examine a harsh truth about the culture we live in. From the moment we are children going to school to the years we spend in our careers, we are conditioned by an invisible but incredibly demanding belief system. It is a culture that worships productivity and material output above all else. In the West, our society operates under an unspoken rule that a person's worth is directly tied to what they contribute to the economy. When you meet someone new at a social gathering, the very first question they ask is almost always, "What do you do?" This question is not just a polite way to start a conversation. It is a tool for social positioning. People use your job title, your career, your salary, and your level of busyness to determine who you are, where you belong on the social ladder, and how much respect they should give you. You are taught that being busy is a badge of honor, the ultimate proof of a successful life. Conversely, unstructured time or rest is often looked down upon as laziness or a lack of ambition. Because you have lived and breathed this mentality for over 40 years, entering retirement can trigger a profound identity crisis. When you hand back your security badge, when you no longer hold a title, when you stop receiving a regular paycheck from an employer, you feel as though your entire identity has been stripped away. You ask yourself in quiet panic, if I am no longer a manager, if I am no longer an engineer, a teacher, a nurse, then who am I? Do I still have any value at all when I am no longer producing material wealth, when I am no longer directly participating in the economic engine of society? This fear is made even worse by another quiet pain, the fear of becoming invisible. You walk down the street and see young people rushing past, eyes glued to their smartphones, talking about new technologies, startups, and the latest trends. Their language feels foreign, their pace feels incredibly fast, and you feel as though there is no place left for you in this rapidly changing world. You feel like you are standing on the sidewalk, watching the busy traffic of life fly past while no one even notices your existence. This feeling of being marginalized, of becoming useless and invisible to the younger generation is a very deep wound that quietly chips away at the self-esteem of retired seniors every day. But you must know that this is a giant mental trap. The worth of a human being has never been and will never be defined by a job title or the balance in a bank account. Those are temporary labels assigned by society to keep the economic wheels turning. When you strip away those artificial labels, you return to your original, purest state of being. You do not need to do anything to have value. Your very existence, your presence as a living, breathing being in this vast universe is already a priceless miracle. How do we break free from this trap of busyness and find our inner peace during these spacious years of retirement? Zen master Thich Nhat showed us a path that is incredibly simple, beautifully humble, yet possesses a tremendous power of transformation. It is the art of mindfulness in the smallest actions of our daily lives, turning repetitive chores into sacred rituals of meditation. Thich Nhat often taught his students about the art of washing dishes. He said that when we wash dishes, we must be completely present for the washing of the dishes. There are two ways to wash dishes. The first way is to wash them to get them clean, so that we can quickly move on to do something else, like having a cup of tea or reading a book. If we wash dishes this way, we are not truly living during the minutes we spend at the sink. Our minds are running into the future, worrying about the next task, and the act of washing dishes becomes a chore to be endured. The second way is to wash the dishes just to wash the dishes. When you wash the dishes this way, your entire attention is anchored in the action itself. You feel the warmth of the water flowing over your fingers. You feel the weight and the smooth texture of the ceramic plate in your hands. You watch the soap bubbles glisten and catch the light from the kitchen window. You smell the clean, gentle scent of the soap. When you do this, washing the dishes is no longer a boring chore. It becomes a miracle, a deep meditative ritual that connects you directly to life in the present moment. You can bring this exact same spirit to your morning tea or coffee routine. Instead of preparing your drink in a rushed, automatic way, turn it into a sacred moment of mindfulness just for you. Lift the kettle with full awareness. Listen to the water as it begins to simmer on the stove, then rumble into a warm, comforting boil. As you pour the hot water over the tea leaves, watch the gentle steam rise, carrying the fresh, clean aroma of tea throughout your kitchen. Hold the warm mug with both of your hands. Feel the heat of the ceramic soaking into your palms, warming your fingers that might feel a bit stiff and cold with age. Close your eyes, take a deep breath to let the scent of the tea fill your lungs. Then slowly open your eyes and look into the cup. Thich Nhat taught that if you look deeply into your cup of tea, you will see a cloud, a rain shower, and the warm sunshine floating inside it. Because without the cloud, the rain, and the sun, the tea plant could not grow to give us these leaves today. When you take a mindful sip of your tea, you are not just drinking liquid, you are drinking the universe, touching the marvelous workings of nature. Or when you step outside into your yard, even if it is just to water a small flower bed or wipe the dust off a green leaf, do not do it as a burdensome duty. Touch the leaf with deep appreciation, as if you are touching the skin of a dear friend. Talk quietly to the plants, thanking them for staying green, for cleaning the air, and for bringing life to your home every day. When you put your whole heart into these small acts, your mind will naturally settle down. The endless streams of thoughts about the past or worries about the future will fade away on their own, leaving a deep, quiet peace that wraps around your entire home. Before we move on to share a very moving story about the life of an autumn leaf, I hope you can take a brief second to press the like button on this video and share it with a friend or a loved one who might also be searching for this kind of peace tonight. Your simple act of sharing is how we plant seeds of comfort and peace across this world together. To help you feel the true value of your presence even more deeply, I want to tell you a beautiful story that Zen master Thich Nhat loved to share. It is the story of a small oak leaf living on a magnificent ancient oak tree during the autumn season in New England. This oak leaf had lived through a beautiful spring and a vibrant summer. In the spring, it emerged as a tender green bud, full of life, dancing happily in the warm breeze alongside thousands of other leaves. In the summer, it stretched out to catch the bright sunlight, working diligently to create nutrients to feed the massive trunk of the oak tree, helping it grow strong and healthy. The leaf was incredibly proud of its work. It felt useful, active, and essential to the life around it. But then, autumn arrived. The cool northern winds began to blow through the forest. The temperature dropped, and the leaf's vibrant green color began to fade into a pale yellow, then a dry, brittle brown. It felt its body growing weaker every day, and the connection between its stem and the branch began to loosen. Looking down at the ground, the leaf saw many of its companions already fallen, lying silent and decaying in the cold frost. Looking up at the branches above, it noticed new, tiny buds already forming, preparing for the next spring. The old leaf felt a wave of deep fear and sadness. It thought to itself, "Oh, is my life really over now? I used to be so beautiful, so helpful, but now I am just a withered, useless leaf, waiting to fall and vanish forever. I have no value left." In its moment of deep worry and fear, the leaf had a quiet conversation with the great oak tree, the mother tree that had nourished it for so many months. The oak tree whispered to the leaf in a deep, loving voice, like the wind rustling through the canopy. "My dear child, why are you so sad and afraid? Do you truly believe that you are going to fall and disappear? The truth is not like that at all." The oak tree continued, "During the bright summer months, you captured the sunlight, the wind, and the rain to create food for my trunk, giving me the strength to stand tall against the heavy storms. You did a wonderful job. Now that winter is coming, your changing color and your departure from the branch is not a sad ending. It is a sacred transformation. When you fall, you will rest at my feet, merging back into the warm soil of our Mother Earth. Over time, you will decompose to become rich nutrients which my roots will draw back up to feed this very trunk and create new, green leaves next spring. You have never disappeared, my dear. You are always present in me, in every fiber of my wood and in every new bud of the coming season. Your presence, whether you are green on the branch or lying quietly in the soil, is an invaluable gift to my survival." Hearing these warm whispers from the mother tree, the leaf suddenly understood. It realized that its life was much larger than its tiny stem. It was not just a separate, isolated leaf. It was the oak tree, the earth, the rain, the sun, and the entire forest. Its fear of disappearing and its sadness of being useless completely dissolved. The leaf smiled at the gentle autumn breeze, let go of the branch without any regret, and drifted gracefully through the air before resting softly on the damp ground below, beginning a new journey of peaceful transformation. My dear friend, you are that great autumn leaf. The busy, active years of your career were the bright summer season where you gave your all to support your family, raise your children, and build this society. Now, as you enter the autumn of your life, the fact that you are no longer working does not mean you have become useless or that you are fading away. Every experience, every act of love, every value you created throughout your life continues to flow in the veins of your children, lives in the walls of the home you dwell in, and remains in the very fabric of the society you helped build. Your stability, your ease, and your gentle presence right now are the quiet, invisible nutrients that feed the souls of the generations following you. Now that we have touched the value of our presence through the story of the leaf, let us dive even deeper into two other very real emotional challenges that many retired seniors face every day: the fear of loneliness when living alone, and the heavy pressure of trying to look perfectly fine so our children do not worry about us. The first challenge is the quiet ache of living in an empty house. Many seniors view living alone after a spouse passes away or after the children move out as a great tragedy. They dread the vast silence of the rooms, the sound of their own footsteps echoing off the walls. But here, Thich Nhat draws a very gentle, beautiful distinction between two states of mind: cold loneliness and mindful solitude. Loneliness is when you are alone, but your mind is constantly searching outside, craving attention, wishing someone would come by to talk and fill your empty spaces. When that expectation is not met, you fall into sadness and resentment. On the other hand, mindful solitude is when you are alone, but you feel entirely free, whole, and content within your own presence. You do not need anyone else to make you feel complete. You turn your quiet home into your own personal sanctuary, a peaceful monastery where you have complete freedom to enjoy your time, care for your mind, and tend to your soul. You can spend hours reading a good book, listening to classical music, or simply sitting by the window watching the summer rain fall, completely undisturbed. Living alone is not a punishment. It is a beautiful privilege of your later years, allowing you to slow down and become your own best friend after a lifetime of taking care of everyone else. The second challenge is the pressure of being a perfect parent. Many seniors try very hard to appear healthy, happy, and completely problem-free whenever their children call or visit. They hide their joint pains, they hide their quiet loneliness, fearing that they will become a burden or disrupt their children's busy lives and careers. They wear a tiring mask of being perfectly fine. But mindfulness teaches us to let go of this need for control and expectation. Embrace the concept of selflessness, accepting that your children are now adults with their own lives, their own responsibilities, and their own life lessons to navigate. The greatest gift you can offer your children right now is not money, material inheritance, or endless advice. The greatest gift is their peace of mind when they see their parents living a life of true ease, tranquility, and contentment. When you live peacefully and firmly, you create an invisible field of calm that shelters your children, giving them strength when they face the storms of the world. Your children do not need a busy, perfect parent. They simply need to know that whenever they think of you, they will find a warm, peaceful haven, free of worry. To bring everything we have shared into a solid foundation for your spirit, let us contemplate a core teaching of Thich Nhat, the philosophy of being is doing. The simple truth that by just being peaceful and solid, you are already performing the greatest action of all. Thich Nhat often shared a very simple story about a flight caught in a storm to explain this truth. He said that when a passenger plane is flying high in the sky and suddenly enters a severe storm with heavy winds, thunder, and lightning, the plane begins to shake and drop violently. In that terrifying moment, almost all the passengers on board fall into a state of panic. They scream, cry, and pray in deep fear. This panic behaves like a contagious wave of negative energy, spreading rapidly and making the situation feel even more chaotic and dangerous. But, they said, if there is just one person on that plane, only one, who knows how to sit quietly, breathe mindfully, and remain completely calm without any fear, a miracle happens. That person's calm, steady energy silently radiates outward, acting like a spiritual anchor in the midst of the panic. The passengers sitting nearby, seeing this calm presence, will naturally begin to feel less afraid. They will start to breathe more slowly and find their composure. This calm spreads, helping the flight crew maintain the clarity they need to navigate the plane safely out of the storm. The person sitting quietly did not physically steer the plane or fix the engines, but their peaceful presence was the key to saving the entire flight. My dear friend, in your family and in the busy lives of your children today, you are that quiet passenger sitting on the plane in the storm. The modern world outside is moving incredibly fast, filled with stress, pressure, and chaos. Every day, your children face the storms of their careers, financial worries, and anxieties about the future. When they think of you, if they see that you are also panicking, restless, and worried about your aging years, their own storm will only grow heavier. But if you choose to sit quietly and firmly like a great mountain, breathing gently and smiling at your twilight years with peace, your calm presence becomes an invaluable blessing for your entire family. When your children come home or call you, and they find you sitting peacefully, enjoying a cup of tea with a warm, loving smile, all the tension and stress of their world melts away at your doorstep. Your ease is the most powerful healing energy, a steady anchor keeping the whole family from being swept away by the currents of life. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to make money or build things to have value. Just by being peaceful and solid right now, you have already given the most beautiful gift to this world. We have walked a long way together tonight, sharing deep reflections and quiet moments. The space around you has likely settled into a very soft, tranquil hush. The waves of restlessness and worry that might have been tossing your heart around earlier have quieted down, allowing a sense of peace and stability to spread through your body. Allow yourself to lie comfortably in your warm bed or lean back gently in your chair. Let your eyes close naturally. We will practice a simple, 3-step breathing exercise together, guided by the wisdom of Thich, Nhat, Hanh, to close our evening and prepare your body for a deep, restorative sleep. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and gently expanding your abdomen. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Imagine all the tension, fatigue, and lingering thoughts of today leaving your body with your warm breath, dissolving into the quiet air. Breathing in, I know I am here in the present moment. Breathing out, I smile to the miracle of life around me. Breathing in, I let go of the urge to do or accomplish. Breathing out, I am completely at peace with simply being. Continue to let your breath flow naturally and softly. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the comfort of your bed. You are completely safe, completely supported, and loved right here in your home tonight. You are no longer a busy worker. You are a peaceful soul resting in harmony with the gentle rhythm of the universe. If you felt the warmth, the deep understanding, and the peace of this message tonight, please leave a kind word or a message of peace in the comments below. Your simple words are like golden grains of sand, helping to build a warm, healing community for so many other kindred souls who are listening alongside you tonight. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can continue to walk together, comforting the quiet worries of our hearts in the evenings to come. May you have a beautiful deep sleep and wake up tomorrow with a light, peaceful spirit. Thank you for the wonderful gift of your presence in this world.